Hi, you guys, and thanks for tuning in. So, there was a question asked, why do I wear my monitor? Well, why do I have to wear the monitor? I have to wear the monitor because I was released from prison early. I had 2 years, a year and a half left to serve on my term, and they came up with a program that allowed low offender inmates to serve the rest of their time either in a some type of home or at home with a loved one. So I was approved to serve the remainder of my term at home. They want to make sure that I don't run away. They want to make sure I obey the terms of my release, which is I cannot just run the streets. I cannot just go anywhere I want to go. I cannot go 50 miles outside of my home, and I have to be in at midnight, and I can't leave until 6 in the morning. Those are the terms that I agreed to. So they want to make sure that I'm in the house. They want to make sure that I don't go outside 50 miles outside. Those are the terms. So they put the monitor on me, to watch me, to make sure that I don't do anything. I'm not the only one that was considered for this monitor. There are people, inmates, that are considered, and then they break the rules. And then they come and get you and take you back to prison. For instance, like my old officer told me that there were men who were going to look for work, and come to find out they were out robbing people while they were supposed to be out looking for work. Come to find out they were out robbing people, and they had the monitor on them. So that's how they were able to find out that it was these guys. Somehow they were in this location, and these criminals or whatever. And so they had to go back to prison. So that's what the monitor is for. The monitor is to monitor me, to make sure I don't go anywhere, and to make sure they know where I'm at all times. There has been a couple of times where I was late. I was late one time. It was past midnight. And so what happens is, if I'm not in this house at midnight, then the monitor alerts the company. I don't know, but somehow in the morning, not like right away, like, oh, let's go get her. No, but in the morning, my officer, his boss, everybody can see, like, they look and see, like, oh, this person is missing, did not show back, didn't show up at home, or this person 2 hours late, or this person was an hour late, or whatever happens. So the boss would say, hey, your girl Sakina didn't show up, or your girl Sakina was late. If your girl Sakina didn't show up, call her, go to her house, where's she at? Let's call the cops. Let's go get her. She going back to prison. Your girl was late. Why she was late? If I'm going to be late for any reason, if anything happens, then I text my officer immediately. I'll call him immediately, like, oh my God, I have a situation. I'm in traffic. There's an accident. I'm going to be 5 minutes late, or whatever. If something happens, he's cool. He'll say, okay. Then he has to tell his boss, this is why. Because his boss is going to say, whoever is in charge is going to say, hey, what happened? Why was she 5 hours late? Or why was she 5 minutes late? Or whatever. So he has to know. I can't just put him on the spot and not let him know what's going on with me if I'm going to be late for whatever reason. And he has acts. He'll pop up here unannounced. He said, it shows on the monitor you was 5 minutes late. What happened? And so I have to tell him what happened. Or wait a minute, you left the house at 5:50. You were not supposed to be at the house at 6 o'clock, you know. So I have to make sure he understands what happens, what's going on with me at all times. One time I was in the emergency room and I'm like panicking and like, oh my God, I'm like, oh, y'all remember with the stomach, I'm all half dying, crying, and like, oh my God, babe, you better text the officer. So he had no. So yeah, I was in the emergency room. I think it's at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I don't think that they know right then and there at that 2 o'clock in the morning that I'm not home. But I think what happens in the morning when, however it works, they check the monitor, they see like, uh-oh, we have a situation here. Sakini was 2 hours late. What's going on? And he knows, don't worry. This is why she was in the emergency room. But I also think that, for instance, like when it came off yesterday, it's like a sensor. It knows the movements. And if you take it off, if it breaks, and you like sit it down like, hey, I'm just going to sit this thing down and I'm going to go out of town or something, they're going to know because there's not going to be any movement. Like, okay, she's at house, but there's no movement. There's no heat. So you can't get away with like, oh, it broke. Hey, yay, it broke. It's off. No, 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 no. So I'm not taking any chances. So yes, that's why I have to wear the monitor. All right, that was an awesome question. Thank you so much for that question. You guys, remember, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask and I'll be more than happy to do a video, okay? So once again, thank you so much. I love you guys. And until the next video, peace.